You guys, I've recorded this video twice now and I don't know what's going on. I just can't find the clips. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Taiwo. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this year. I put on my Instagram story 2 days ago, wait, this year is actually almost over. Wow. It felt like the year ran January, February, March, before you know it, we are in December. What? But anyway, I'm just going to be answering questions about this year. It's going to be my last video. It's going to be question and answers about how the year went, my most embarrassing moment, things that went right, things that didn't go too right, and finally we'll talk about next year, the things that I hope to do better next year. So if you see me looking there, it's because my system is here and that's where my questions are. So let's get right into the video. The first question here is asking for my most embarrassing moments this year. Okay, I think my most embarrassing moment this year was when somebody said to my face, somebody made a comment about my weight. Now let me explain. So this year, late last year and beginning of this year, I got a lot of comments about my weight. Many people were saying I was getting big, I should watch my weight, and stuff like that. So I was shocked. Yeah, it wasn't getting to me, to be honest, at first, but it now got to a point that I, started getting sensitive. So there was a particular day in church. It was after service, and then this woman said to me that I was getting big and that I need to eat with wisdom. She said it in Yoruba, stuff like that. And I was so embarrassed and hurt and upset, actually, because I was like, why do you think that was a right statement to make? Because first off, you don't even live in my house, you don't even know how I feed. I know that I'm not feeding unhealthily. It's not like I eat that much, or I just eat whatever it is that I see. So I was like, why would you tell me to eat with wisdom? But why do you think that it is right for you to make such a statement? I was really upset, actually. And I was embarrassed and hurt. So I think that's my most embarrassing moment this year. I didn't have any embarrassing moment like that, if I think about it properly. Yeah. So the second question is asking for my biggest accomplishment in this year. First, I'm going to talk about, I talk about my faith a lot. I think my biggest accomplishment in this year has to be that I was able to consistently spend time fellowshipping with God. Guys, this means a lot to me, and I'm so excited at the growth. So before this year, I've always been a Christian. I used to spend time with God and all that, but there were days that I wasn't so consistent, and there were days that I just did it as a routine, let it not be I didn't pray today, and stuff like that. But this year was totally different. I was able to put in place structures to help me stay consistent, and I was able to get to a point where it wasn't that I was doing it because I had to report to somebody that I had spent time with God. Do you understand? So I was doing it because I knew I needed to spend time fellowshipping with God. I was doing it because I enjoyed fellowshipping with God, and it is a big deal for me. That's one of my wins for this year. The second one will be that I started my YouTube channel. Guys, this makes me so happy, because if you had asked me in January this year if I was going to start a YouTube channel this year, I would have said no, I wasn't interested. Because even though I knew that I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, it wasn't in my plan for now. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get around to doing it. I had planned that when I start my master's degree, or after my master's degree, or when I get married, or it was a plan for later, like I said in my very first video, but I'm so glad that I started my YouTube channel. Sometime this year, I made a video sharing with you 5 Bible verses that encourage me when I feel down or when I feel discouraged. And one of the comments under that video, I'll put it on screen, said that she was thinking about suicide when she came across the video. And guys, I almost cried. I'm not sure, but I think I actually cried, because like it gladdens my heart to see that, you know, my videos are helping, you know, people. I know that I don't have a lot of following yet or subscribers yet, but the fact that at least one person, you know, gets blessed by my video, that's like, it makes me happy. And I'm so glad, I'm grateful to God that I started and I didn't stall when He placed it in my heart to start in the middle of this year. So yeah, big accomplishment if you ask me. I know that you're not so, oh yeah, I also got a job. So yeah, let's go to the third one. The third question says, oh, share bloopers in this year. So I'm going to check. I should have videos. If I have not deleted them, I should have videos of, you know, bloopers from this year. So I'll just share them with you guys.
What's all this noise now? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Is that generator? Oh jeez. Best memory of this year. I think I had quite a number of, you know, really nice memories. Well, one that I want to share is the one that first crossed my mind, and it was this day. I had been going through a lot. This year was a lot for me. Like, it was a lot. I don't even want to go into details. And that day I wasn't even thinking about it, because I had gone to my WhatsApp status story and I wrote a fiction, you know, very funny story. People were laughing, you know, and saying stuff. And then somebody sent me a message. It was Toby. So before then, me and this guy never used to chat. I don't think we've ever had a conversation. The only reason why we had each other's phone numbers was because I volunteered for a group that he's the leader of, and you know, I think the only conversation we had was at the beginning when I joined. So we never really used to have any interactions. But that day, this guy sent me a message and he goes like, so after I wrote the story and I added at the end that it was a fiction, he was like, so you lied. I was like, no, I didn't lie. Like, it's a fiction story. Like, I put it on my status that it's fiction. It was not like, yes, I saw it. Like, fiction writers are liars, you know, something like that. And I was like, who is this one? Like, please leave me. But surprisingly though, we started to have conversations that evening, and you know, we're just, you know, going back and forth about the thing. I was trying to explain, he was also explaining, and I was explaining, and we were like, okay. So it got to a point, we were talking about the things that we love doing and stuff like that. I think something like that. Anyway, we should have had the conversation up to a point where, you know, he wanted to call. Now, he had mentioned his girlfriend while in that conversation, so I knew that, okay, so this person is not trying to like shoot his shot or anything, so I was able to relax. So he called me, you know, he said he had some questions. He called and we started to speak. Guys, surprisingly, we spoke, I think, for almost 2 hours that night. That's the longest. Guys, I don't like calls. Like, everybody knows I don't like calls. That night we were able to, you know, have a very long conversation. And it got to a point, this guy, you know, started to like give me words that I needed, exact words that I needed in that moment. And guys, I cried. I wept like a baby, you know, because it was so surreal. You know, after that conversation, I remember telling God, like, why do you love me so much? Like, and then God was saying that there's no mountain He will not cross, there's no ocean He will not cross, just to bring reassurance to His child. And in that moment, it felt like Toby was the mountain that God had to move, you know, to bring reassurance to me that night. That's one of the best moments of this year, I kid you not. That night, after the conversation, I cried, I sang, I listened to music. Like, I felt so refreshed. I was going through a very hard time, and it was like God was telling me, babe, I got you. Honestly, it meant a lot to me. It's one of the best memories of this year for me, to be honest. Alright, biggest obstacle of this year. Okay, biggest obstacle of this year was me not being able to go for my NYC. it's like a 1-year mandatory service program where you have to serve the government after your school. So if you go to university, after the university, you have to like serve the government for that 1 year. So I had many plans. As a matter of fact, when I was writing my goals for this year, many things were attached to the NYC period. Because I was going to be leaving home, I wanted to like find a church where I could serve, where I really wanted to be and serve. So it was one of my goals. I wanted to save a certain amount. I wanted to I just, all my goals, I planned them surrounding NYC. Because I was so sure that I was going to go for NYC, latest by February or March. The year started, and then we were already planning towards NYC. We were already counting down. My twin sister and I were counting down to NYC, and all of a sudden, I couldn't go for NYC because I had a name disparity. The middle name that I used in my JAMB when I was writing my exam is different from my official middle name, so it was a big deal. I didn't think it was going to be such a big deal at the beginning because we had already sworn an affidavit, done things. So I was so sure that 1 month, 2 months max, it would be resolved. This is December, it has not been resolved. I don't know when or if it's going to be resolved. That was my biggest obstacle this year. I was in such a bad place. I was so stressed. I was so stressed because we had to visit Lagos JAMB office several times. I had to go back to my school several times. We were submitting documents, writing emails, we were scanning documents, just trying to see it resolved, and it wasn't getting resolved. So it was like I was having my hopes dashed over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, and it was crazy. So I couldn't do many things that I had already planned that I was going to do, and it really was I don't like to remember it. Regrets of this year. Oh, I'm not ready to share this regrets yet. I'm going to share it later, so I'll pass. So the next question is asking for my favorite YouTubers this year. Okay, I love the question. This year I loved listening to Tosin Alabi, Tolulope Solutions, Deborah Bombs, Adebanjo Tomiwa, Owaye Jesoloba Grace, Lola Williams. I don't know if I've mentioned Lola Williams. Her name is Anna. I love her YouTube channel so much. She's a UI UX designer and she is very good. Very good. You should check her out. Name is Anna. Name is then Hana. She's a Korean, by the way. You know what? I'm just going to list all my favorite YouTubers on the screen so that you guys can check them out, so that doesn't take too much of this video. Lessons I learned this year. The lessons I learned this year are numerous. I'm just going to mention a couple of them so that it doesn't get too long. The very first one would be love. This year, there were times that God told me to stop talking. There were times that God told me that's enough. There were times that God told me you are not even saying anything at all, and I just had to just keep short, because even though I was hurt, there was a particular day, somebody did something that hurt me. I was so upset, and I just wanted to go on and on. So I had already made it clear that I was hurt, that I didn't like what just happened, and I wanted to just go on and on talking about it, and God told me that's enough. And I was like, but I wanted to just express myself, and God said to me, do you want to express yourself more than you want to express my love? And that was it. There was nothing I could say. In fact, what can I say? To hear now, because thinking about it, I thought about it, I'm like, many times we want to express ourselves more than we want to express the love of God. And man, especially when we are in the right, it's hard to restrain yourself when you are right. You are not the one that was wrong, you understand? But the love of God is you trying to understand, trying to see things from different points of views and perspective, and trying to even when the person is wrong, trying to still be kind in the situation, managing it properly, and just extending God's love. That was one of my major lessons for this year. God's love to me, and God's love to people around me through me. I don't know if that makes sense. God's love to me. God reached out to me so many times this year. Shout out to you, ID. There were many times ID would just send me words, and many times. The second thing that I want to say is that when you get instructions from God, or when you get words of encouragement from God, it's important for you to note them, write them down. Guys, there'll be days that will be really hard. On days like that, you just need God's words to keep you going. Truthfully, this year was tiring for me. I cried the most in my entire life this year, and many times it was coming from a place of worry. It's also one thing that I'm learning, to get better at, to not worry, especially because I know that God has got me and things are going to be fine. God's words kept me going. Words that God had told me, when I was having my quiet time, words that people had told me, when they reached out to me, it just kept me going. See, I told you about my NYSC delay. There was a word somebody gave me, ID. Yes, it was ID, and she said to me, God said I should tell you that you are not late. And guys, that word was sort of like an anchor for me this year when things went south, because like in everything I kept realizing that I am not late. I kept reminding myself that I am not late, and it made so much sense to me. It helped me, run. It helped me move. It helped me not stay down. And I'm just so grateful. But imagine that I didn't have any record of all the things that God has said to me. I didn't write them down. I didn't have them in my notepad or anything. There was no way for me to have been able to go back to them. It's important to write things down, to keep things, even if it's a screenshot. If you can't write, if it's a screenshot, if you want to start a message on your WhatsApp, if you want to just take a picture, it's very important. The third thing that I learned this year is that things will not always go the way you plan. Like I said, I had a list of goals for this year. You see, when life hits you like this, you get to a point where you're like, things won't always go the way you plan. You should be prepared for uncertainties. There's sometimes that the things that you have already imagined, the things that you have already expected will not, happen, or the path that you are taught that you would walk will not be the path that you walk. So what happens is that many times you still arrive at the destination that you want to arrive at, but you just probably had to go through a different route, a more uncomfortable route, and eventually everything will add up, everything will make sense, everything will, fall in place. But in that moment, it won't feel like. I think the last lesson that I learned is that God is for me regardless. God is for me. It took me making that sink in my head to stay and to stand this year. See, it doesn't matter what's going on or what's not going on. God is for you. Many times we don't see what's going on behind the scenes, but one thing we should always note is that God is working for our own good. He's turning things around for our own good, even when we don't see it, even when it doesn't make sense. God is turning things around for our own good. There were many things that happened this year that shouldn't have happened, negatively, and there were many things that happened this year positively that I was like, wait, how did that happen? It was so obvious that it was just God working, bringing me that good news or those good news. So God is for me. My goals for next year, the things that I want to do better next year. First, next year I intend to start my business. I should have started this year, but for some weird reasons, I just kept on stalling. I was shy, I was scared, I wasn't sure, if I wanted to put myself out there, doing a business and all that. But next year I intend to start, and I'm saying this so that I can be kept accountable, knowing that I've already said it on my video, my channel, for the whole wide world to see. It's gonna push me to make the decision. Another thing that I want to do next year is to go out more. Guys, I love the idea of going out, but I hate stepping out of my room. I don't like going out. I love it when people go out, make videos, take pictures. Just go out, guys. But yeah, tell me to go out. That's when I will have something that in fact, I don't even understand. I don't even know. But next year, it's one of the things I want to change. I want to actively go out next year. This life is to be enjoyed. Just go out and have fun, network, meet people, and all that. Another thing I want to do next year is to stay more consistent, with the structures that I've put in place for my growth, my personal development, my spiritual life. I want to stay more consistent. This year was great. I want next year to be even better for my career. I want to take more courses, get better at what I'm doing currently, and also equip myself for what I want to do in the future. Yeah. I also want to save more next year. This year I tried, but I didn't do well at all. I didn't do well at all. I couldn't account for some of the money that I spent. Oh my god, I stopped working sometime in September. Yes. And after I stopped working, that was when it dawned on me that I did not manage my finances properly. I should have had more savings than I had when I started working. But I couldn't even explain it. So next year I really want to do better with my finances. I already put in place some structures that help me. I downloaded a budgeting app and some other stuff, just to help me get better. So another thing I want to do is to work on building my personal brand more next year, like my social media presence. I want to work on that actively. I hope that I'm able to, and by the end of next year, when I'm doing like a review of the year, I'll be able to say, oh, these are the things I wanted to do and I was able to do them. Amen. Glory to God. We have come to the end of this video, and I just want to say thank you to you all. And to end this video, I'm just going to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you subscribed to my channel this year, when I started, now that you're here, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Next year I intend to bring more videos to be more consistent and to grow my subscribers. I hope that it happens. I also intend to get a better quality phone or camera, as the case may be. I just pray for provision so that I'll bring you guys better quality. I really hope that happens next year. I love you all, and I'm so glad and grateful to do this year, to have done this year with you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you in 2022. Bye guys.